What's going on, all you wonderful A-plussers? It is I, Stewart, here, once again here to give an interview with Campbell himself. That's right, Slider, Scrozzle, all sorts of amazing, fun characters in Power Rangers. My first question, I guess it's kind of a two-part question. What got you into voice acting to begin with, and then how did it eventually lead you to joining Power Rangers?
Complex question. I'll try and get it down to bullet points. So I was working as a professional film and television actor, and because I was living in New Zealand at the time, it was really hard to make a living just as a film actor because there's just not enough work down there considering all the actors. So the logical thing was to kind of expand my marketability, and everyone's been told me for years, oh, you've got a great voice, you should do voice acting and everything. So I spent a few years trying to get a voice agent and had difficulty because, again, there's not enough work and everything. Well, it just so happened that the director, the voice director for Power Rangers, normally he would have reached out to like a voice agent. Well, this time he reached out to my acting agent and said, do you have any Americans on your books? Because they wanted American accents. And she said, yeah, we got this guy. And so I went into audition, and I was absolutely terrified. I was so nervous. I've never shared this story. I was so nervous that the stand, like the music stand that you would put like the sheets and everything, in this case like it was like dialogue, I was so nervous. I was gripping the side of the music stand, I was shaking. And amazingly, I got the part. It was for SPD. It was a character called Tomars. And I was told later that it was very rare for a first-time person auditioning to get cast on the show. And then they just ended up liking me, and they just kept bringing me back for small parts, and then it expanded into bigger parts and more monsters and everything. And of course, well, the rest is history. So that's kind of the short version of the story.
So this is okay. I'm kind of cheating here. I know I said 3, but I just remembered a question that I asked you on Twitter, and but that was also before Dino Fury. So I'm curious if your answer has changed since then. Do you have a favorite character that you voice acted in Power Rangers?
Oh gosh, there's so many, and it's usually for like different reasons. So I'm quite fond. Initially, I really liked Snide because there was something about the voice. I loved the sound of the voice, but over time, I started to realize it was really hard on my throat. So, I love the sound of him, but I would prefer to do him sparingly. Initially, I wasn't that fond of Scrozzle. There was something about the voice that just, it wasn't registering with me. But then over the course of the season, I settled into the voice, and he really grew on me. And now he's absolutely one of my favorite characters. And I do like the voice because there's something kind of childlike about it. And obviously, it goes without saying, Slider is because he has amazing dialogue and one-liners.
Yes, okay, I'm not gonna lie, man. Some of the lines that you've delivered as Slider, I think my favorite was when you were hypnotizing a person to be evil, and you're just you will leave the toilet seat up. Lines like that were just so funny. I absolutely loved you in those roles. And then I also loved seeing you actually in person in that season. That was really cool.
That was fun.
So great. And then last question, what advice do you have for other aspiring voice actors out there?
Wow, don't do it. It is a tough industry. Obviously, I don't want to talk you out of doing something that you have your heart set on, but it is a really tough industry. It's not something you can do casually. It's not something you can just do on the side in your spare time. You've got to be out there networking. You've got to be out there getting to know people. You've got to be recording stuff and sending it out. That's your life. So if you want to do it, but understand if you're going to be successful, that's all you can do, and you got to commit to it. One of the biggest things I learned as a voice actor when I was starting out, I was a part of something called Loop Group. Now, looping is all the background sounds, and I remember my first year doing looping. There was this. Oh, that must be Jason David Frank.
Oh yeah.
My first year doing looping. There was this one guy I watched. His name was Jeremy, and the thing I learned from Jeremy was he didn't hold back. He just gave 150% every time he did something. And you know, if you shrink back because you're afraid you're going to look foolish or something, well, then you don't get invited back. And so I just, you know, I followed his lead and I just pushed and I pushed, and like there were a few times where I pushed my voice so hard on one or two occasions I almost passed out. I don't suggest you do that. That's bad advice. All right, so don't follow my lead.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, everyone. Thank you again so much.
Thank you so much.